excited about the opportunity to play, obviously, Thursday. Coach Shaw, man, their team's tough. I've talked to people that have played them and said it's the most physical team that they've played. And so that part of it, and you watch the beginning of the U of H game, and they've got a physical team. They're playing really hard, so I respect anybody, but especially the way they're competing right now. You can tell that they're playing the game with a lot of physicality. So got our hands full.
Just what kind of challenges, like you kind of just alluded to, what kind of, I guess, challenges do they pose? Seemed like Owen Deese and Amir Paul kind of jumped off the tape to me when you might have to brief review.
Yeah, no, they're actually playing a lot of guys. I mean, I do think they have, some returners that have the ability to break games open. I think when you watch teams play, you try to get a feel this early, and it's difficult to maybe get complete understanding of personnel. We have previous film from last year, but I'll tell you what just jumped out on the page, just how hard they're playing. And anytime you play that hard, you give yourself a chance, whether it be just creating turnovers. So, I mean, we're going to have to do a good job. They run a good motion offense. It's different than what we've faced. It's not what you see. You see a lot of ball screen offense. This is more motion, and they're trying to throw it into the post some. So it'll be a different challenge. It'll be great because you get to see our team have to defend different ways, and then how do you handle their pressure will ultimately determine how well we can score.
Coach, part of that physicality is they do a great job rebounding their own misses. I mean, I know you talked about getting rebounding before, especially on defense. Is that something y'all been preaching a little bit more lately?
Yeah, we've gotten better in that area, especially at the end of games. I think when you're trying to close games, like at the beginning, maybe just trying to get a feel for where you're moving defensively, you may be out of position a little more. But the other day at the end of the game, I thought our ability to rebound the basketball really was a game changer.
What's your outlook on your team's defense right now?
Well, I'll tell you, our team has really given, I think, a lot of attention and effort in that side. And you can tell that they haven't been dictating their effort by how we play Joe Toussaint in the house. They haven't been dictating how they play defensively, whether the ball goes in, and that's always a big concern of mine. And you can tell this team is identifying with the defensive side. Hey, this is what we're going to do every time we step on the floor.
You mentioned things weren't said before the season started. As you've played 2 games, you've had the same starting lineup. I know starting lineups, you're going to have people rotate in and out. Has there been any thoughts of switching that up, though, to start just to see different looks?
Yeah, good question. Right now, I think the starting part of the game is more about how can we put a lineup out there that has experience, and that I think can keep changing maybe over the course of the season, but I think that experience is really important for us to start games.
Kind of along that line, we haven't seen any of Kyron Lindsey or Drew Steffi. What do those guys need to improve on to maybe crack that rotation?
Yeah, well, I think, this time of year, and not to get into too much detail, but I think you got to try to evaluate, like, the redshirting opportunity. It's different than football, and you don't want to just burn people's years, and you also want to try to give them the best chance to have success and get better. And I can tell you this, they're both practicing really hard. They're both getting better every day. They're not out of the mix in regard to that. I mean, I think we're just kind of having an ongoing conversation and don't want to burn something in case we want to try to give them an opportunity. But yeah, both of them have done a great job in practice and keep getting better.
Similar, EY, he's played a little bit in the first 2 games. What are your thoughts on his contribution so far, and I guess plans with him moving forward?
Yeah, no, EY's, man, I think his ceiling is extremely high. He keeps getting better, and he's practicing them. He's lifting every day, and he's putting in all the extra effort that needs to happen. The pace of the game is really fast for him right now. So as you can see, I think the more comfortable he can be with the practice sessions and getting the minutes he's gotten, and as he learns to, handle the speed of the game, he'll get more opportunities.
Coach, for a lot of young players, scoring is how they know if they're having a good game or not, and if their offense is off, then everything in their whole game, that game goes off. How nice was it to see Pop this past game where his offense wasn't clicking, but he was still plus minus on the way plus side. He was still helping the team win and doing the other things he could, even though he didn't have his offensive game going.
Yeah, I mean, give Pop credit. And when we say he didn't have his like the thing about Pop is he actually 5-1 assist turnover. I thought he did have his offensive game, but he just didn't shoot it well. So like offense is so many things. It's like how do you move without the ball, and everybody just wants to dictate what you do with the ball in your hand that determines your value to an offensive team. And like we were talking today in practice, sometimes just a quick movement sliding away from the ball is actually what good offense is. So I think it's teaching the nuances to everybody on our team is what's best for us may not be what's best for you individually in the stat column, but what helps us win, and trying to keep building that. And that's where Pop, I thought, was tremendous. I really did. I thought his floor game and his understanding of how we needed to win, especially those last 12 minutes, was really showed a lot of growth, and was thrilled with the way he distributed the ball over the course of the game. And those last 15 minutes just was an assist guy. And really the gravity was about him attracting to and making the simple play, and he did that really well.